Dear students, welcome to lecture 2 of Unit 1. The topic discussed is process of communication and principles of effective communication. These concepts are very important for the examination point of view, which will be asked in section C. Let's get to start with about process of communication. Basically, communication includes a process of exchanging verbal and non-verbal messages. It is a continuous process. The message is conveyed from the sender through some medium to the receiver, and the message must be understood by the receiver in the same terms as intended by the sender. So therefore, communication is a two-way process. The main components of communication process are sender, encoding, message, channel, decoding, receiver. And no communication is complete without feedback. When the message is transmitted from the sender to receiver, there are possibilities to have barriers. One such barrier is noise. Let's discuss each stage included in the process of communication in detail. Sender of the message is the starting point of the communication system who initiates the communication. Sender is a person who is willing to communicate. For example, deputy production manager wants to inform production manager regarding the progress of work. So hence he has an information to be shared and he develops the idea. The next is the message. The main element which has to be transformed. It is a physical form into which the sender encodes information. It can be in any form which may be understood by the receiver. It might be written, or it can be read, or it can be even a body language. Message may be regarded as a subject matter of communication. Encoding. The purpose of encoding is to translate internal thought of sender into a language or code that the receiver of the message will probably understand it. Through the process of encoding, the sender attempts to establish mutuality of meaning of the message with the receiver. So encoding is converting of the message. Next is the channel or the medium. The channel is method or path in which the message is transmitted from one person to another. The sender has a variety of channels available to him, such as face-to-face conversation, telephone calls, letters, bulletins, and so on. Medium is a means used to exchange or transmit the message. The sender must choose an appropriate medium for transmitting the message, else the message might not be conveyed to the desired recipient. Next is the receiver, the target party. The receiver is a person who receives or perceives the message of sender. The communication does not serve any purpose unless it is understood. Therefore, after physically receiving the message, receiver must comprehend it. Briefly, communication does not take place if it is not received by the receiver. Next is decoding. It is a process where the receiver interprets communication message into meaningful information. It has two steps. First, receive the message, then to interpret it. The effectiveness of communication depends on how much receiver decodes and the decoding matches the sender's message. Feedback. To complete communication process, some verbal or non-verbal feedback from receiver to the sender is required. Feedback may be in a variety of forms, such as giving a reply or through an action, that is in the form of smile or action or gesture, or it can be through a mail or a message dropped in any of the platforms. So hence it is essential to understand feedback is the most important element. During this process, there are chances of disturbance occurred because of noise. So hence the communication works in this format. I repeat the elements. Sender does the encoding and has a message, and the decoding is done by the receiver, and the message which is received has to be given as a response to the sender in the form of feedback. So these are the elements which are involved in the process of communication. The next important concept is to understand the principles of management. So this image shows you how the interpretation happens, that is both encoding and decoding of a message. When we discuss about effective communication, the foremost thing that comes in the mind is the principles of effective communication. These communication principles guides in forming messages, its style and importance so that it becomes more effective for the target audience. Dear students, please remember that these principles are also called as 7 C's of communication. So when you're writing the answer for the question 7 C's, focus on all the 7 elements. If it is principles, there are additional 3 more elements to be discussed. So it will be 10. So let's break each and understand. Complete. The message must contain all facts needed for desired reaction. The message which, which is required should contain the necessary information that the receiver needs to take action or make decisions. Clarity, there must be clarity in terms of thoughts and expression. Concise, be brief and to the point. The message must be to the point and all unnecessary words must be eliminated. Courtesy, use polite and respectful language. Be sensitive to the feelings and viewpoints of others. One must communicate in a friendly and polite manner. Correct all facts, words, language, information to the message must be accurate. Concrete, the message to be communicated must be specific and not vague. Consideration, one must understand that the emotions and sentiments and the background of the receiver. So the additional 3 elements which is in the principle is feedback, consistency and timeliness. Consistency, the message should be logically consistent with past communication and organizational goals or policies. Feedback, it encourages and provides opportunities for feedback to ensure the message was received and understood correctly. Whereas timeliness, send or share the message at the right time so that it is relevant and useful. Hence, we have discussed in detail both the process of communication and principles or 7 C's of communication.